Hey guys, it's Prince and welcome back. So it has been exactly a month since I last released a video. Actually, by the time that I'm releasing this, it's been more than a month, but I'm filming this on December 10 and the last video that I have ever uploaded was I think November 11. And today, you might have read the title and you're curious. And actually, sinadya ko yung title na yun so you guys would be curious sa video na to. So if you know me, if you really know me, you'd know that I have a huge heart for the environment. Because apart from self-expression, freedom of speech, equality, and the other things that I advocate for, addressing climate change is actually one of the biggest advocacies I have as an individual. Sometimes, I even care more about the earth more than the people. I'm sorry. Honestly, guys, you should care about the environment as much as you care about human rights and other stuff like that. So in this video, I want to do something new to educate you guys of things that we should not stop talking about. Kasi I said in my previous videos that climate change or environmental issues is like a topic that we should never stop talking about, and I still believe that until now. Because trust me guys, the world is not getting any better. So without further ado, let's jump right into it. So before anything guys, I'm looking at my laptop right now to read my outline, so bear with me. If you want more of this, you can find me on my socials. I am HatesPwins on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Before we start this video guys, I just want to show you guys two photos of the Earth taken in two different times. So just to give you a visual representation of how well we fucked up Earth for the past century and for the past decades. This is not just caused by climate change. To be fair, this is caused by industrialization, modernization. And sad to say guys, at that time, not to say that this was necessary, but it had to happen. Kasi sadly, at that time, people were not really well versed or people were not focusing on on climate change or environmental issues. People were more concerned about industrial issues, economic issues, growth, and just modernization. But the good news is, today, people are actually educated or aware regardless of their profession. Kasi dati lang yung may mga alam sa mga issues na to, yung mga environmentalist, yung mga activists. But today, guys, even students are well-versed or educated when it comes to this matter. To this day, this is a topic that we still take seriously, hopefully, in school. Kasi recently, guys, in my chemistry class, we have been talking about climate change, greenhouse gases, things that are just about the environment. And I hope na hindi lang yung mga classmates ko yung nakikinig, but all of the students here in the Philippines. Kasi the problem with us Filipinos is that as long as it does not affect us directly, or we don't see the effects, or hindi tayo na gagambala, wala tayong ginagawa or wala tayong pakialam. Problem din with our mentality is iniisip natin, we're not big companies. Our actions alone as an individual can't fix the ozone layer, or we can't freeze the polar ice caps. Even though that is true, together, when we make similar actions, we can make bigger changes. Today, I'm going to talk about the little things that you can do that will have a bigger effect in the environment and possibly save it. So the first thing that you could do is to educate yourself and to start talking. So the best thing to do is to educate ourselves to know how this would affect us in our lives today or in the future. Climate change, as you can see it guys, ang laki na ng mga naapektuhan ngayon na Pilipino. Yung mga heat strokes ng summer and yung mga pagbabaha ng mga tag-ulan na panahon dito sa Pilipinas, yun ang big effects of climate change natin. Why do we have to start talking? Here in the Philippines kasi, the bad thing about us Filipinos sa culture natin is may hirap. Our culture is very traditional. We hold our traditions very close to us. So yung mga actions natin sa everyday lives natin, bihira lang natin baguhin. I'm telling you now, living a greener life is not exactly cheap. But when it comes to expenses, it's all a matter of financial planning or simply being wise with money. I'm saying this because being green can both cost you more or save you more depending on how you see it. All the adults out there, invest in greener appliances. In the Philippines, it is so hard to find a source or provider for renewable energy. So Meralco right now, if you don't know, Meralco is transitioning or working on to using cleaner or renewable energy, which means na yung traditional methods ng Meralco, and if you don't know what that is, our energy or our electricity carbon power plants. So right now, Meralco is transitioning into using renewable energy. So ano ba yung renewable energy? Madaming ganon. Meron tayong hydroelectronic, meron tayong solar, meron tayong wind, and a lot is available in the Philippines. But it doesn't mean na nagta-transition sila, doesn't mean that they're not using their coal power plants. So guys, a little crash course on global warming. So greenhouse gases, as you know, it's natural, it's abundant on Earth, it's essential to our planet. However, burning of carbon, specifically fossil carbon, creates too much greenhouse gases na hindi na naka-escape yung init ng araw. So in that way, mas umiinit yung surface ng Earth natin, thus global warming. So how does saving electricity connect to global warming? Burning of fossil carbon creates more greenhouse gases that creates global warming. Now, electricity in the Philippines comes from the coal power plants ng Meralco. So, common sense na lang, the more you use electricity, the more coals are burned, the more carbon is emitted, the more greenhouse gases there are, the hotter the surface of the planet is. Now, good news is, sa ating mga Pinoy, napakatipid natin sa kuryente. Yung pag meron lang hindi ginagamit, pinapapatay na ng magulang mo. The reason why investing in greener appliances is very simple kasi A, it saves you more financially, and B, it saves the environment as well. Now, ibig sabihin ba na to na pinapatapon ko na lahat ng aircon, ref, at TV nyo sa bahay? No. Hopefully by now, most of us are using LED lights. Kasi if you don't know, LED lights consumes less electricity pero mas bright siya compared to the traditional lights that we use here in the Philippines. So, hindi lang appliance yung pwede yung palitan. You can start with as little as your bulbs if hindi pa kayo naka-LED. Now, saving electricity also includes unplugging unused appliances as well. Now, kahit hindi nyo ginagamit yung appliances, as long as nakasaksak yan, it still consumes energy. Hindi nyo alam pero may idle electricity na nako-consume dyan. I just forgot the terminology but ayun nga. Now next naman is transportation. A huge direct contributor on greenhouse gases is the burning of fossil carbon nga. AKA the transportation na sinasakyan natin na nagbo-burn ng fuel. That also contributes to it. But that also depends on the fuel that you use. For the sake of discussing transportation, if you do not need to go somewhere, lalo na sa panahon ngayon, stay at home. Now if you have to be somewhere, if you have to go somewhere, kunwari may bibilin lang kayo, at kung kaya nyo naman lakarin, o kaya nyo mag-transportation na walang fuel, like let's say bike, and that is a better alternative than using a vehicle na kailangan pa ng fuel. Now, the next thing that I want to talk about is plastic. So, I'm not just talking about packaging. Let's talk about the bigger issue right now. Masks. Specifically, face masks. Am I telling you not to use them? No, you need that. Always wear a mask when you're outside. But what I'm trying to tell you is to look for better alternatives. You don't always need to use the mask, the surgical mask. You don't always have to use a surgical mask. Number one, if you ka naman frontliner, it's not really a requirement to use a surgical mask. So maraming alternatives dyan. So like I said previously sa transportation, if you don't need to go out and you don't need to consume specific materials, then don't. So we talked about electricity, we talked about transportation, and we talked about plastic. I'm not telling you not to online shop, I'm just telling you to shop wisely. Why? Yung tatlong topic natin, electricity, transportation, at plastic, check yun sa lahat ng online shopping. Number one, electricity, yung process na pinagdadaanan na. Number two, yung transportation nga, isipin mo yung carbon footprint mo doon. And number three, yung packaging, yung bubble wrap, pati yung parcel pa, iba-ibang plastic pa yon. Recently, may binili ako and si shop, they failed to complete the order and nakalimutan nila ako dalan ng brush. So imagine mo, yung brush na yun, kailangan pang ipa-deliver sa akin ng may bagong packaging, ng may bagong bubble wrap, ng may bagong Ziploc container sa loob. And I was really sad about that. Hindi ko na-realize na dapat hindi ko na lang hiningi yung brush. Hindi naman lang yun yung situation. There are times that you have to buy different items from different shops. Pero yun nga, be mindful of what you buy. Lastly is food and water. Number one, guys, we already talked about our carbon footprint, aka yung travel ng item or yung transportation ng item sa'yo. That is why when it comes to food, buy more local products if you can. Why? Kasi obviously, local means less transportation. Next naman is buy less meat. If you don't know, the meat industry contributes a lot to carbon emissions through the processing and even the increased production of methane in the atmosphere. Yes, I'm talking about yung otot ng mga baka na nakakasira na ng mundo. Don't be wasteful sa tubig. That's always given naman sa ating mga Pilipino. That means kung iihi ka lang, hindi mo na kailangan i-flush yung toilet, pwede ka namang gumamit ng tabo. Or if magtutoothbrush ka, huwag mong iwan yung ripon tumatakbo. Mape-pressure ka lang magmadali. So, that is all of the small actions that you can do to make a bigger change. So, I hope, guys, na educate kayo and you would be more encouraged to be greener and to have more faith in our generation that we can save the damage that the previous generations have caused. So that is all for today. I would be making more content this month. Capricorn season is almost here. So if you like this video, don't forget to leave a thumbs up and comment down below. Let's talk sa comment sections. And if you want more of this, go ahead and subscribe. So that is all. Don't forget to hydrate and sanitize. Bye guys!